Hello, and welcome. In today's video, I am going to be making two VTubers. I will be going over most of my process for this. However, this is by no means a tutorial because, for the most part, I just followed a tutorial series by somebody else whose name I forgot, but they'll be in the description if you want to check them out. If you can't tell yet, I'm rather tired. I have spent 1 week working on these pretty much non-stop, and you're like, well, I thought you did these in a bi-weekly video. It's because I procrastinated, and so everything was just all pushed on 1 week. I haven't slept much this week because this project has kept me awake at night, not because I've been staying up. I've tried to, cut it off at a specific time, but because I can't stop thinking about it. And so I can't sleep, and so I just sit and stare at my ceiling, thinking about James and his hair and his eyelashes and all the things that I've done wrong and I should have done better, but I'll yap about that when I get there. Now, for a little context as to why I'm doing this, I am making these two VTubers for a couple of friends, and if you know anything, you'll know that I did a live streaming series where I created a VTuber for a different friend, and we'll probably stream together at some point eventually if all that happens. All goody, Gucci, goodness, hurrah. Also, I'm gonna preface this right now. There's gonna be a lot of flashing all over the place. First time trying to mess with a lot of footage because I normally just do time lapses. There was like 20 hours of footage or something like that to mess around with, so it was a lot. Also, if this video is hard to follow, I am very sorry. I put the footage all in chronological order rather than VTuber, which is what I would normally do for this. But again, they're not equally yoked, and I also did them at the same time, so I just put them in the order that I actually made them. I hope that is okay. Anyways, first off, we have the rat. I don't know, there's no name for this creature yet. We just call him Rat. Anyways, I started off by conceptualizing this beautiful creature. I knew from the get-go that I wanted him in a Pringles can because the friend who I'm making this for has a Discord icon of a Pringles can, and he has this whole time. Of course, it's off-brand, copyright, it's Prongles. If you notice on the right, I also decided that he should be a psychic rat, and I really wanted to add a toggle, where he is like psychically floating. I'll talk about that fiasco when we come to it though. But yeah, normally I spend a lot of time in this phase, but I just had such a pure vision for this creature that it really didn't take me all that long. Next up, I move on to the actual model itself. Now, for the model, I just recreated the sketches and brought it in here. Unlike most models, this is a completely asymmetrical design, but due to the fact that he is so, just small, he's like borderline like a chibi VTuber, but if like a chibi VTuber was even simpler, that's what this creature is. And so it made it a lot easier, so it didn't matter that he was asymmetrical. Anyways, if you're wondering why I'm doing everything on different layers, it is because that is how one VTubes. You gotta separate all the layers so you can animate them separately. And also that is similar to why I need to make it symmetrical most of the time, because there is a thing called motion mirroring and all this stuff. It just makes everything easier because you have to do like half the work that you would if it's asymmetrical. But again, Rat, he's simple, he easy, he Gucci. Anyways, I didn't bring it up, but he stole the mustache off of the Prongles man and is now wearing it himself for his own mustache. Just thought I'd let you know that's what's happening. Anyways, now on to the man of the hour, James. You'll see that there is already a concept up there. That is because this character, unlike the previous character, is already an original character of that person. This is some old, crusty, dusty art that I made like, I don't know, 2, maybe 3 years ago. It was from a D&D campaign we did. It was like the first one we did together. This is James. He is a paladin of light. I I do recall that I specifically wanted to avoid making him a sun-themed Paladin of Light because I was like, oh, it's too basic, it's too simple. But like, here I am 2 years later. It's too perfect. It's too pure. He is the sun because James is the center of the universe. Everyone must gaze and behold at his pure, unmistakable majesty. But yeah, I decided to go all in on the sun theme. I even gave him like sunset hair. I just thought that was cool. And if the style seems familiar, it is because I visually reference JoJo's a lot. I've never seen it. I probably ought to. But the art, wow, chef's kiss. Anyways, as you can already see, I've moved on to the VTuber model itself. Now, this one definitely gave me a lot more trouble than the rat. Not gonna lie. I wound up in total with 107 layers, of which I had to go back and mess around with stuff because I am free, I am cheap, and thus you cannot have over 100 layers when making your VTuber. So I had to go fix that, just merge some crap down, everything was fine by the end, you know. But yeah, I definitely messed up the size of his skull, and don't be like me. I did not watch a tutorial on cutting before I did this. I didn't do it for mine. I didn't do it for my other friends. I didn't do it for the rats. The rat ended up being okay. Mine was sort of okay. My other friend was sort of okay. This was not okay. It came back to bite me severely later on, costing me hours and hours of work that I had to fudge through because I did not have time to go and create new assets and fix crap and troubleshoot all that nonsense. And so you will see me suffer and complain later down the line in the video. Anyways, I had a weird time rendering. I was trying something a little more, it's not painterly, it's like a pseudo painterly, something between my style and more painterly stuff, just because I wanted it to be majestic, but also because doing anything less than made it feel unrendered. I'm gonna be so for real. I'm not good at rendering VTubers. They always either look unfinished or I have some crap that messes up, and when I do all the freaking things, it just looks stupid and weird and the shadow doesn't move correctly. I will absolutely figure that out next time I do this, because there will be a next time. Okay, I own my villain arc, but it's like a VTuber arc. I'm gonna be making a bunch, probably, eventually, hopefully. Not to state that I'm migrating to being like all VTuber focused, to be clear, but I mean, like, there'll probably be like several other videos that come out eventually. And when I am powerful enough in the realm of rigging and VTubing, then maybe I'll make like a tutorial. But like, to make a tutorial, I gotta get to the point where I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? But yeah, anyways, look at his knees. They're my favorite part of the whole thing. Ignore the fact that their lighting is wrong. He's in the natural lighting of his home planet, which has 2 suns. Anyways, next up, I load everything into VTube Studio. I animated blinking for the rat, forgot to record it, and then tried to move in James, and then realized that I messed up and didn't do everything right, so I have to go back later and merge all of the shadows and all of the line art, which with their color layers. However, I do miss several layers in this process. This is also where I find out that I had over, I don't know, because I was naming them as I go, so I didn't know how many the layers were. But anyways, it was okay, I fixed it, and then I get to load them in properly, where I then set up everything, get his meshes going, everything's golden Gucci. Of course, I accidentally cut the footage where I mesh everything, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. I'm sure you can figure it out when you watch an actual tutorial. I believe in you. Anyways, next I start off with the head Z rotations, which is basically just tilting your head side to side, where I select everything on the face except for the neck, you know, because that's not a part of the face. I want the whole head. And then I apply a rotation deformer, and then I tilt everything to one side, and then I mirror it on the other side so that it goes in the same way, like just same distance, so it's not like awkward funky. I definitely get awkward funky later down the line though, but you know, foreshadowing. Anyways, after using a warp deformer to tilt the neck back and forth, I move on to the eyes. For the eyes, I completely rig one eye, then later on I will delete the other eye and then copy paste and flip everything. Which I could not begin to explain to you how it worked because I've completely forgotten how I've done it. But it's in the tutorial. It was a really good tutorial. Again, go check that out. It's a whole series. But yeah, after I do eye blinking, I move on to eye smile, which is just where, you know, the lower lid comes up because you're smiling, you know, when they say you're smiling with your eyes. And then I have to go back and edit the eye smile blinking so that, you know, it doesn't look stupid when he does that. Then, using more and more warp deformers, I take the iris and I have it do its X and Y thing, and I pull the pupil back into the eye to give it a more three-dimensional look, because your eye is not just, you know, like a sticker on top of a flat thing. It's a ball with a little divot inside that pokes out because it's rounded, yada yada. Physics, science, spherical nature. Speaking of physics, after making a shocked expression, I move on to iris physics, which is when you see those Vtubers and they blink and all the little lights in their eyes just to bounce around like their eyes are wet. That's what I to do. So I created new parameters. I put the irises in there and all that stuff so that I would add an XY version of it. So the X would, you know, squish it out, and then the Y would squish it up, you know, like how X and Y work. Also, not that I named them correctly anyways, it was like 1 and 2, but you know, blah 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 blah. I also did a thing where I brightened the eyeball by turning the multiply shadow on the iris into an add layer when it fleshed out. The multiply add layer was definitely messed up because it should have merged fully with the eyeball, and that was a problem because it was bigger than the eyeball. So I should have, like, you know, gotten rid of it. But it's clipped to the white of the eye because it was clipped to the iris. It would poke out and it would be all over the skin, and it's just awful. It was another thing that I should have thought about or learned about. But yeah, after that, I go back to the XY and move the edges of the eye when he looks around, just because it looks cool. Then I mess around with the eyebrow. If you saw me moving it before, delete that memory because I remove it from that. It also gets crunchy though. So I crunched up his eyebrow and have no way of fixing it, but that's, I guess, okay. I can live, I guess. But yeah, as you see, I have copied over the eyes, and then I move over the one eye to eye left instead of eye right. The eye on the right is the left eye. I have it labeled as right, but it's not right, it's left, and I have to rename everything and blah, 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 blah. This was tedious because I mislabeled everything. But it's okay because life moves on. I quickly fiddle around with stuff and make sure everything's working after the great copy and paste. Then I prepare for one of the most difficult parts of this entire process, which was the head angles X and Y. I collect every aspect of the face except for the back of the hair because it's important that moves separately. You'll figure it out later. I put it all in a warp deformer, everybody gets all cozy together, and we all hang out in X and Y-ness. For the head X and Y to look believable, there are multiple warp deformers that all the aspects of the face. Everything is put into the head XY, but then there is also face XY and bangs XY. And the reason this is because you first get the rough angle by using your head, and then you make everything a little more refined with the face XY, but then the eyes and then the irises are in separate warp deformers to also increase the three-dimensionality. Also, the nose gets its own. Eyebrows are usually put in one, but I didn't because I didn't give him an eyebrow shadow, and so the effect didn't really make it any better. And I fudge around with the bangs, make everything look all hunky-dory. One of the most difficult aspects of this was the nose, and it is all back to the improper prepping of the model. See, I didn't have any like extra skin piece or something that I could use to make the nose look believable in 3D, so when he turns his head to his left, he looks goofy. His nose is not meant to be at that angle, and so his nose has a completely different shape from left to right, but you guys will promise that you won't notice that, right? You'll ignore that for me. You'll ignore his nose, yes? Thank you, appreciate ya. And then I synthesized the corners. And this is where my soul left my body. Oh, he was looking freaking jacked up, like so awful. Oh, he looked so funny. I almost left it like this. This is a little bit of a demoralizing moment because I've been working for like hours and hours. This was all the last day because I only had like a couple days to work on this. This was the final day I had working on this, i.e. yesterday as of me recording this, Tuesday, 2 days ago, as of y'all seeing this, if you watch this the day it comes out. I almost just left his little face corners like that and was like, I'll make my friend promise not to look up, you know? I tried my best, but I could not fully uncrunch his face. He just perpetually looked stupid for the rest of forever, but it's okay because he doesn't really go up fully anyways, so it's okay, fine. Anyways, due to that being such a demoralizing experience, I moved on to the rat, where I gave him XY compatibility and a Z motif where he just wiggles. Okay, Y is a stretch. I didn't really give him a Y, but I gave him an X. And that is why he has no Y. But yes, look at him wiggle. He wiggles back and forth. Then after that, I created a separate warp deformer and also a parameter for his little hands because I wanted to make them have a physic reaction. So every time he wiggled his head, he would sort of adjust his little fingies because I thought that would be funny. And in practice, it is. So here you can see me in the physics menu where I hit add, and then hitting add here will be all of the things that whatever it is physicking is reacting to. So in this case, it's angle X and angle Z, but I was on low motor functions at this point, so I couldn't think of what I was doing. I put the effectiveness up to 50 because it goes up, position and angle both go up to 100, but I did 50, so it's not too crazy. Hitting add creates the pendulum, which is basically a reflectant of the motion. Output is where the thing that is reacting goes. Sorry if my mic gets crazy, I'm like rocking back and forth like a psychopath. Anyways, and then you can see it's not working because I didn't put it in the output setting. And so I go back to output. I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head in footage. So you can see, again, nothing is happening because I didn't move the scale. I popped that up to 50 because that's like the scale of the movement from how much stuff. And now his little hands, look at them adjust. They're adjusting because he's moving. And he did a good job. And then I messed with the duration, shake influence, reaction time, and convergence to get the hands moving in a way that I like. Don't ask me to explain what these do. I can kind of get it. Shake influence is just if you do something, it wiggles a bunch. Reaction time is how long it goes, I guess. And don't take my word for all of this because the physics menu is Greek. And here he is moving, but it's all sped up. And now we move on to the mustache and ear physics, where I just sort of move them back and forth and move his nose and make sure that they all like bounce and such. And now I'm moving body to add a talking thing. I wanted this to look janky. I wanted it to just be completely janky because I thought it was really funny. You know, just give it like his little Muppet mouth talking, moving. And then I add nose physics. And here he is in his glory. Look at him blinking out of sync. He's talking. This is not live footage. This is footage I did the other day to show it off. I am not yet done with the rat because I'm about to go waste around about 2 hours doing something that doesn't end up panning out, which I will show you because I recorded it. But moving on. Now the place you wanted to be the entire time, James's lips. I'm sorry, I'm like, I don't know, I'm tired. Anyway, mouth movements, typically speaking, one of the more difficult portions of rigging for most people. I am a most people. This was hard and annoying. But it wasn't, again, the worst thing. The worst thing was the nose and the face corners. So the worst is behind us. Not to mention, though, I did have to go back into all the face corners after moving them out because prior to this, I should have made a warp deformer called Mouth XY where I did all that crap, but I didn't do that. And now I had to go do it later. So, like, I feel like that ended up being bad. And then I ended up, like, doing a lower mouth thing so I can move the teeth and tongue. I didn't do a very good job. so it doesn't really help the effect much, but like, it's okay. But yeah, the rest of this is just minor adjustments and then moving everything into a folder to make everything all comfy and cozy, pockets and posy. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, next up, is something that I think is completely out of order, which is me rigging the I, X, and Y for the rat. I either forgot about this earlier, or this footage is out of order. Either way, left and right, up and down, side to side, in the corners, in the ground, did the eyes, and we're done. Then I had to redo the blinking. I do recall doing the blinking at some point, but this might be the first time I did the blinking, in which case I actually did get it on footage, but I don't remember doing that. I did one eye and then had to do the other eye. But then I had to undo and redo it. I don't remember. Been a long couple of days. Anyways, here's a little clearly out of order footage. And then I move on to hair physics, where I add an XY warp deformer to each piece of hair so that they warp together, so like it'll bounce later when I add the physics, you know, because that's fun. I also fiddle with the mouth a teensy piece, but it's not a big deal. Now, I definitely messed up on the hair physics. When I did the Y, I had every hair strand flow up in the same direction where I should have had them flow out, you know, like how physics work. It looks a little funky, but like I'm not going back to fix it now. It's too late for that. Also, I add a little bit of breathing by selecting all of the chest and shoulder and arms and whatnot and have it rise and fall a little bit on the breathing tab so it breathes. Now, onto my very favorite part, I go back to the mouth rigging and I give him a big grin, and at the pinnacle of his grin, the peakest of peaks, I add a little glint to his teeth so he has like a little smirk with a sparkle. I love it so much. It's so funny. I love it. I wanted to do something similar with the eyes. When he'd wink, that he would have like little sparks come off. I couldn't figure that out though in a way that wouldn't just happen all the time and not be a toggle, because I never ended up figuring toggles out. Again, I'll yap about that in a second when I get to the 2 hours of rat footage. But yeah, once I finish that, that is James done. He is done and dusted, pristine, ready for action for whatever he's gonna go do later. What? Body X and Y? Body Z? Deppies? What? No. You crazy. I didn't have time for that, to be for real. I would do that in an update, but like I ran out of time, so I didn't. And my hand is starting to hurt from all of the awkward sitting position, clicky nonsense, carpal tunnel, yada yada. I don't have carpal tunnel, but just, yeah. But yeah, overall, I would say he came out pretty good. Just don't look up too much. Don't use the corners too much. And he's great. Good for action. Oh, I forgot to mention, I also give him cape physics, but they're a little awkward because I didn't link them to his body, I linked them to his head, so they move at weird times, but it's okay. Anyways, now onto that 2 hours of wasted time. Hopefully not. Maybe y'all can tell me what I did wrong. Basically, what happened was I wanted an animation toggle, or would toggle the idle animation of the rat. I go through all this, I have different frames and all the different toggles. Basically, I have a new parameter so that it doesn't affect any of the physics or anything else. I call it psychic, and then I put all of the different things, and so the different eye colors and other things, so it can have that like wom type effect you get in like psychic stuff. And so I had it swap from each thing, where I would mess with the transparency, make them 0 on everybody else's frames, and then I went into the animation thing, where I created an animation and put it in the files afterwards. But then I export the animation in terms of VTube thing. I definitely clicked the right animation form, so it was like SGK or whatever it was that was recommended to use. I then export it as a animation, but also an animation file for a VTuber, and then I load it in. It shows up in VTube Studio. I set up everything. I give it a toggle, but then when I hit it, nothing happens, and I fudge around with this part for like 20 minutes, but then I'm like tired and give up, is basically what happens after all this nonsense. I do not know what's wrong with it. Anytime I look it up, I just get a bunch of tutorials on how to add toggle expressions, and it has nothing to do with the animation, and it's really annoying, and then everybody else's just works, and I did everything they did, so I don't really know what I've done wrong. Please help. Thank you. Oh yeah, but with that, everything is ready to go. All the VTubers are sent to their respective owners, and we'll probably do something with them at some point. I should probably link whatever socials they want in the description so you can check them out if they have anything. One of them does, one of them doesn't, but he will soon. Prep your eyeballs for that. Anyways, this was fun. Sorry that this is different than what I normally do, but you know, I mean, different can be fun. Maybe you like this, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I said most of what I wanted to say. I'm definitely coming back to making a VTuber eventually. I want to make, like, a cute girl VTuber at some point, just because, they have such symmetrical faces. And I want to do big anime girl eyes. I want to render cute flowy hair. I want to do something. Maybe one day when I'm good enough, I could even do, like, VTuber commissions, because this was fun. I like this. And if I get commissions, then I can pay for the pro version and use all the features, and it's great, and everything is good. Life is good. I hope your day is good. I hope your night is good. I hope whatever time you're living in is good, and I hope it continues to be so. Have a good time of when you are currently living, and goodbye.